Welcome to New Sky TV. The truth behind Wang Haozhen and Yuxin unfollowing each other. The moment Wang Haozhen and Yuxin unfollowed each other, it was as if the same button had been pressed on the timeline. Some suffered from insomnia, some cried, and some wrote long articles overnight to analyze when exactly did they start to change. But if you look at this emotional storm from a broader perspective, you will find a cruel yet sobering truth. This is not the collapse of love, but the normal shutdown of a CP, couple pairing, industrial assembly line. Don't be sad. Unfollowing is not betrayal, it's the project completion notification sound. The hashtag exploded at 3 a.m., accompanied by 2 screenshots comparing the cold followed and unfollowed statuses on Weibo homepages. In just 10 minutes, the topic's views soared to over 200 million. Those fingertips that had scrutinized the sweet moments in the super topic were now trembling as they typed out broken cries. My shooting star fell before it even rose. Did you really think that this Haozhen and Dong, a popular CP pairing that swept this summer, was an unexpected romance? Wake up. From the moment the cast of Meteor Shower was officially announced, a precise surgical operation targeting your emotional glands began. The passionate finger touches you shared in leaked videos were actually the director's personal adjustment after the 8th take on set. The acrostic poems you stayed up all night analyzing on Weibo were the coincidence polished by the publicity team over 3 sleepless nights. Even that viral photo of the two of you amidst fireworks was a trigger point explicitly priced in the brand's product placement contract. What is the essence of the CP, couple pairing, industry? It's the alchemy of emotions. Your purest admiration, fluttering hearts, and longings are thrown into a reactor called traffic, where they are extracted under high temperature and pressure to generate real money data, sales quotes, brand premiums, and platform ratings. Every glance between Wang Haozhen and Yuxin on camera is a standard component on an assembly line, certified by ISO 9001 emotional standards. You cried out, the house collapsed, but forgot that this house was, from the very beginning, a replica of an ancient costume set built by a film studio for tourists to take photos. The beams and pillars were made of foam, the tiles were plastic, and even the carvings on the window frames were spray-painted stickers. Capital's eyes never leave the data panel. Every penny you spent staying up all night voting for this Haozhen CP was broken down into user profiles in the background. 87% female, predominantly 18-24 years old, with consumption preferences of light luxury cosmetics and emotional consumption. These cold numbers flowed into the river, directly into the investment promotion PPT of the Meteor Shower drama, turning into a 30 million yuan naming fee for a beverage brand and a 50 million yuan joint marketing contract for a jewelry brand. And when the drama finished filming and the promotion period came to an end, the decluttering of the actors' Weibo relationship chains became the final standardized process, like a temporary label that must be torn off after packaging on a factory assembly line. The cruelest truth is this: when you burned yourselves, you thought you were lighting up love, but in reality, you were only illuminating a line of numbers on the capital's ledger. The actors have already moved on to the next film set, throwing themselves into another pre-planned deep affection, while you remain huddled in the ruins, trying to scavenge a remnant of genuine emotion from the ashes. Stop asking silly questions like, did they really have feelings? On set, even feelings have a timer. The moment the director yells cut, every loving gaze instantly transforms into a business smile. On this cruel assembly line, actors are assembly line workers, dramas are standardized products, trending topics are quality inspection reports, and you, dear fans, are nothing more than cans of emotional fuel labeled fervor and loyalty on the conveyor belt. The fuel will eventually burn out, but the assembly line never stops. The tears you shed for Haozhen tonight will tomorrow be used to create the destined promotional trailer for the next on-screen couple. The answer is, of course, no, but you'll still buy it. Because what you're buying is never real beef, but rather a perfectly seasoned, saturated fantasy. The most ingenious aspects of the CP, couple pairing, industry isn't about fabrication, but about being half real and half fake. It doesn't require actors to actually love each other, it only requires them to appear like they might fall in love at any moment on screen. It doesn't require a grounded relationship, it only requires the emotions to remain suspended. This suspension allows for repeated exploitation. You think you're following a relationship, but you're actually being trained to react in a certain way. Your heart races at eye contact, you screenshot closeness, and you start analyzing a sadomasochistic relationship at silence. Over time, even if the actors do nothing, fans will automatically fill in the gaps in the story. This is the stage where the CP, couple pairing, industry truly achieves cost reduction and efficiency improvement. And unfollowing is precisely the most crucial link in this system. It's not denying the past, but cutting off the possibility of emotional extension, leaving no room for doubt, not giving fantasy a second life, preventing fans from bringing old relationships into new projects in the eyes of capital. This is called risk control. In the actor's career path, it's called boundary management. Some will call it cold-blooded, some will feel deceived. But to put it more bluntly, without a constant stream of self-indulgent viewers, this model simply wouldn't work. You feel like a victim, but you are also part of the system. The moment you forward, recommend, control comments, and create content, you've already turned emotions into quantifiable data. So what's truly alarming isn't whether Wang Haozhen and Guo Yuxin unfollow each other, but when did we start treating designed intimacy as one of the few solaces in our lives? When love is dissected into action libraries, eye contact images, and topic templates, when infatuation is quantified into views, interaction rates, and a line graph in a business presentation, asking is it real or fake is already off topic. They simply performed a standard professional action. But we repeatedly stake our emotions on a game that never promised authenticity. This is the most cold-blooded, yet most successful, aspect of the CP, couple pairing, industry. It never wastes a single drop of emotional warmth. The embers of old CPs are used to ignite sparks for new stories. You think it's a dignified farewell, but it's actually a precise recycling. The studio releasing script photos isn't a coincidence, it's a signal. The fan club releasing support images isn't spontaneous, it's tacit agreement. One by one, they're reassuring the fandom, stop it, the emotions need a change. Sadness itself is the most stable form of traffic during the transition period. Look at the comments, I'm not shipping him anymore, but I'll keep following him. I hope you're happy in your new drama, although heartbroken, I still wish you well. What a perfect portrait of the audience. No unfollowing, no backlash, no scandals, and the emotional intensity remains within a highly convertible range. As long as the next character is believable, this group of people is likely to be transferred and affected to the next heart-fluttering experience. This isn't accidental, it's a repeatedly verified emotional migration model. So you'll find a very strange phenomenon. Those who truly leave are always the most clear-headed small group, while those who stay are the ones who cry the loudest. Because crying means they still care, caring means they still have value. Capital never wants whether you believe it or not, but whether you're willing to leave. As long as you're still willing to repeatedly interpret a vague statement, repeatedly soften your heart for an ambiguous leak, this system can continue to operate. So stop using "they have it tough too" to excuse either side. Actors perform professional actions, capital executes commercial strategies, and the only thing repeatedly consumed yet still self-convinced is the emotional labor of fans. You think you're accompanying a character's growth, but actually you're supporting the project. You think you're witnessing a relationship, but actually you're adding footnotes to a marketing presentation. There are no villains in this game, only roles. And the most ironic thing is, when a new couple appears online, when the next expressive eye contact goes viral, you still stop and take a look. Because this industry never sells love, but rather the possibility of maybe it's real. And what people find hardest to resist is this illusion, unpremised yet infinitely close to reality. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next video. Thank you.